Hi, Christine. So happy to have you here. I think we've known each other for maybe many years, so 10 years. You got on my newsletters, etc. But it's actually only a few months ago that you did call me, asked for a healing session. We got to know each other. And as your entire life started to, flow, change very quickly. Could you possibly introduce yourself a little bit, what happened to you? Because your story is quite extraordinary. As a single mother, we all have many problems, and you got 4 growing kids, and that must be quite a strain. So I think many people could learn from you. I give you the word. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. It's a pleasure. We have been on this journey together for some time. I remember emailing you years ago, requesting services, personal services. But I guess I was so deep in my story still, that I wasn't quite ready. So I had been reading your newsletters, and they always spoke like right to my soul, and they would spark something inside of me, like planting seeds. And in the world, the old world has been very hard on me. My whole life, I've kind of been living on the outskirts, looking in, sort of observing others having a life. And then when you spoke, and I've heard your meditations and your relationship meditation, which I ordered from you and downloaded, really spoke to me and saying, no, there's nothing wrong with you. And you understood me in a way, and you spoke to my divine essence. And suddenly I didn't feel so alone in this world. And the more I stepped out into coming into more and more realization of my authentic self and my divine signature and my spark, the closer we got into our vibrations to the time where it was in alignment, that we really connected this year. And it's just been taking off for me. I feel like this journey is really quickening, and it's getting very exciting now. And I am so excited about when you post new videos and I can see like what alignments are coming up, because I can feel it, but I can't articulate it the way you can. And there's just so many layers. So I'm really excited about, continuing this journey and feeling like the world is at a place where I don't have to hide so much anymore. My energy is going to be realized in a different way on this planet, and I won't be so scared, and I can help bring my children into a world that is going to be different for them, not so suppressed.
Thank you, Christine. It's very important. I think you mentioned that you gave all your attention all of the time into the outer world, absorbed the outer world. But really looking within is the hardest thing for people to do, because most of the time we don't know where to start off. It's foreign, and especially as the world is changing very rapidly, not allowing the old matrix anymore. And I was so surprised how you did it, how you got on the phone and you requested a healing session right away, right? And that is the point where everything started to, quicken understanding, because nobody gave you any understanding before. Then again, my question here is, what I think is interesting for people is, how did you feel the healing coming through? How was it for you? What were the changes? In 1 hour time, I performed a lot of drastic changes in your brain, in your life, with your kids, with everything. So I think it's interesting here to mention your kids are I think between 4 and 12 years old. So they need loads of attention, loads of education. And, that was also much directed, well, the rest of society, your friends, family, whatever there was, try to catapult you really in a downward spiral into the mud of society, but you always were raising. So I would appreciate, I think people may find it interesting how the healing came through, what it did to you, and you as I remember, you did a few healing sessions in a row, and now you're vibing up in going into learning to self master your energies and learning it yourself, because we don't want to be dependent on anyone. And that is something very important I teach. No dependency. Learn the healing yourself, learn the quickening, step out of the old world, because the old world, when we look at it, it doesn't work anymore. And so many people still try to dig in old light body, old connections, old sigils, old symbolisms, old geometry, old languages. So if we look back, the power of the word is the origin. And thus we heal out from the power of the world. From the power comes the sound of the universe. The universes were created, and our reconnectivity with the divine comes from the word. Yet that is quite a highway to follow up, which I've done for 25 years as I'm a spiritual scientist, a physician. I dig deep. I'm a genetic encoder, so I needed to learn much, and it was not easy, but how my stuff flows right now and the results you have, that is really of so much comfort to me, to see you grow, to see you change your complexion, even your physicality, everything came with it. So I could blabber on and on, but I'll let you give.
Oh, for some reason my sound is off now. Let's see. I'm not hearing. Are you hearing me okay?
I hear you're okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's because you went on mute. That's why. Well, the healing session that we had, the personal session, was so incredible. It started at the time that we had accepted the appointment and you had received my picture. I felt like you were already realigning me, and it was like I could liken it to defragmenting a computer. And it was like just a shifting and an organizing, and I could feel it. And I had desire to sleep and eat and nourish myself better. And it was a lot of changes happening even before the actual meeting. But on the time that we did the session, and you held my picture as we were talking, and you put your hand over it, and you remember I instantly had that stream of like just release of tears, just like streaming down my face. And it was just all those unspoken things, because my throat chakra had been so closed for so long. And it was like the flow that you had coming in through the crown, and the gold and the light and everything that you were sending right through me, direct from source. And it was so pure, and it caused this instant reaction. And then from there, I was then able to talk, because I couldn't even talk at the beginning of our session. I just remember being really anxious, and so unclear of what point I wanted to make, and just kind of all over the place, not very fluent. And then that came, and it was just like, it was so much. And it was a collaboration, because when you're doing a healing like that with somebody, if I didn't want to receive it, I could just, you could send it and I could be, no, I'm just going to block it right off myself. So you really have to collaborate, and you really have to want that change to accept it, and to say, I receive that in my body fully. I want this change. I want this light. And it was even in the conversations that we were having, that you were saying, tell your children, if they want a really good meal and you love making food for your children to nourish them, then you tell them, you be busy doing something in the meantime. So it was this combination of this really high energy coming in. And then we worked through all that. And then it was really grounded and practical. And now, how can I implement this in my daily life? How can I see some changes right away? And I did. I saw changes right away. The kids were easier going to school, easier following their routines. People in the community were receiving us better, not trying to change us, but more asking my opinion. How can I accommodate your family? I see you. Whereas, you know, and I'm wearing color now. I always like black, 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 gray, white. And here today, you see me wearing this bright, vibrant color. And so, yeah, the changes have just been miraculous. And I feel like I won't go back because it's a whole consciousness shift. And it's a change in gears that is like, yeah, I'm gonna see. And that was a confirmation, a physical confirmation that, yeah, I'm not going to get that choked up where I was before. And I have a voice. And you're validating this for me by doing this interview. Like, I feel so blessed. And normally I'm painfully shy. And as you know, I was trying to back out of it for even the last few minutes because I'm so shy, but I kept getting ready anyways. I was like, I'm just going to keep getting ready. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, what I actually do is like nothing of the old, but present day, like I wear a lot of crystals. I work with omni universes, all the layers, many galaxies, whatever. Many times people don't understand and don't have to understand, but living in light is upgrading every day your reconnectivity to your source, your spark, and your spirit. And the more you move up into the ladder of light being, transforming the cellular construction back into light waves, that is the whole goal on the planet anyways, and it moves very fast. So for example, that is exactly correct. As I received, you know, your invitation to do some healing, it starts off like 2 days before that, because my energy moves through it, takes on immediately what your brain is going through, and each word that comes through to you when I speak to you, like I speak right now, opens up, while at the same time I move through, like when I work like with a crystal like this one is very powerful and many times not accessible because it's Africa and it is also smoky. So you need to be at a very high vibration to receive codes, information, telepathic interviews with this crystal, for example. So I received that, but like I'm doing 3 things at the same time, talking to you, get your kids right, seeing what happened with your husband, the abuse, the injustices, everything. I reset that. I invite the code. I work with this hand to the code so you could open up and speak and tell me what really is going on. Although I know it's a necessity to speak it out so it gets released immediately. And then I code you into a crystalline grid with all the ley lines of the earth, all the way into the light, into the galaxies, the vortexes. I download everything that is so stuck in the glands in the brain, and that is what you feel as like, whoa, what is happening? What is mostly needed at that particular time? And that is very important to understand, because you know, I remember you particular time you were just crying from happiness, right? And then I could immediately even stop that, like, that's great. Okay, stop it. Whoop, you know, let you have the emotion, but then move it up again into the higher senses, the higher feeling, the happiness, the joy, you know, because, you know, coming from a very depressed situation for many, many, many years and injustices, moving through trauma and not knowing what to do, and now you seem to have a very happy life with your kids, upgrading every day. But that's especially because you move through the power of releasing many relationships, and you are getting more powerful every day. And that is because all these meditations are encoded to release immediately. So what many people are doing right now is recycling and healing and never get out of the cycle of soul. It keeps you in the healing for a million of years, so to speak. Right now, the universe is giving us the higher sciences and physics to move in as a divine being. And on the Ascension platform to receive present day, the modern day tree of life. No more the old tree that doesn't work. It doesn't do anything, because if healing doesn't immediately work and brings transition through the body, the brain, family life, whatever is going on at a particular time, there is no working mechanics, and it should never come back. So what I see a lot on Google and YouTube here is people going back to old relationships all of the time, meaning they don't really want to heal or don't know how to heal. But once you set the demarcation line and you do that powerful meditation which you've done, like bam, people get catapulted out and do not ever have a single chance actually to ever get back to you. That is the power of complete what I term the delete button. And so as we're seeing science and physics, trying to fish after these technologies is impossible if you're not open to open up in the living light sciences where it starts off. And so education, intelligences, religion, everything has been cut up and been lowered, in the downward spiral or the machine of density, negativity, the matrix, the monstrous invasions. And so people at that time have the chance, to move into light realms or remain here in the matrix that will start to crumble and crumble as is happening every day right now. And so, yes, we all need to do the work to move in there. So yeah, I'm very happy you moved into it. And also I remember you taking decisions overnight immediately, which you're still doing, which is quite rare. And that is because the healing brought that through. Like in the old, people need to think for days, weeks, months, years, even before they take any decision. When you're in divine alignment, you take decision every single second, move into action, into your passion, and perform that decision. So, Christine, if you could elaborate a little bit, like you immediately wanted to, work with the divine, receive codes, and you knew from my videos it's important to override the matrix and place a crystalline grid. So I send you some settings, but I remember you messaging me. That was so wonderful, like your first impression and what you did with it. I think it's important to let people know. If you want to elaborate on it a bit, thank you.
Yes, and just before we go into the crystals, I want to mention one thing I noticed very different about working with you, because I have been on this journey for a very long time. At a very, very young age, I was already thinking about reincarnation and what kind of a system we were living in, and realizing that what we gave power to is what would demonstrate our beliefs. And so I've always, like, I guess I was born awake in a sense. And so that caused me a lot of pain. And in 2012, I had a massive awakening, and I started to connect with more and more people. But I found, as you said, the modalities are still all the old world. So what I noticed with all these modalities and healing systems, they keep you in the labyrinth. They keep you trapped inside of the maze. And essentially, you're just circling and circling, and you're constantly looking for something. But and you could get really deep into it with people long before you realize that this is not getting you anywhere. People going years of therapy, and it doesn't need to be like that. And that's why I feel like yours is really bringing in new ways and new healing codes, because it is happening and things are changing, and it's not dreading and going backwards. And I don't feel at a loss of relationships that I've let go. There was a few words, like, what I love so much about your work is that there's so much scientific and so much technical, and there's so much, it's like amazing. You could watch it over and over and get so much. But there's also the subtleties and the words that you use, the little words, like you can go on and you can suss. I remember you saying sussing, that being in relationships that weren't authentic, You were just sussing. And I thought, I do not want to waste my time doing that. I thought of a soother. I was like, oh, forget that. I'm a big girl. I am not going to suss. So dropping the relationships that weren't healthy for me, friendships, family relations, love relations, whatever that meant, would became so much easier because you that one little word, and it could be a different word for somebody else, but I guarantee there will be that in what you speak. There's those layers, because that is how divine comes to us, through these seeds and these little sparks of information. So yes, so the work that we have done together, the healing session, was just amazing and so unique. And I also do have the crystals. I'm just going to pause just for one moment here because my daughter's running the water in the other room, and then I'll come back with the crystals.
So here I'm showing you my personalized crystal grid that SharlotChi has drawn up for me. And you'll see she's showing me the directions they're facing, which each crystal represents. And there's extra crystal in here of a tiger's eye to wear on person. Sometimes it can be put in the grid. And this is the labradorite. And this can be used on my person as well, and in the grid occasionally. So here is the photograph, and then here is my personal grid that I have done here. The crystals are just absolutely lovely, and I've placed them in this basket so that I can just have them underneath my chair where I intend to do some meditations. So this is going to be quite functional for me. I can sit on the chair and do my focus, my intentions for the day with my crystal grid. Now, as needed, I could put the tiger's eye in. I could put the labradorite in for an extra charge. Okay, so I hope that finds you well, and yours will look a little different when you order your crystals. There'll be recommendations specifically for you. They're all personal and unique. No two sets will be exactly the same.
Yeah, could you give a little bit of information, like what you went through with children and your husband, and how you got yourself out of it, what society did to you? Actually, I think people need to hear this, just very concise, because I know you let it go, and you know. Okay.
Okay. So I do have my daughter, my youngest daughter, Gloria, here with me. When I was pregnant with her, she's my fourth child, and I wasn't aware that I was pregnant. But my children's father, we have four children together. I'm just going to leave the room for a moment. He strangled me when I was pregnant with her. And my oldest daughter at the time was 7. And we locked eyes, and I knew I can't hide this anymore. She has seen this, and there was Gloria. I was carrying her. I didn't know, but I took my children. It didn't happen immediately. It took some planning, and my plans got found out. Actually, he overheard. He found out, so I had to pretend I wasn't leaving, send the children to school. Then my friend's mother brought me to the school. We collected my oldest, and she held her there at her house. And then I went home and pretended I was bringing my son to the park, brought him to the safe house. I couldn't get my third child out just yet. He was there. He was kind of stalking the house. So I left. I didn't have any of my belongings. I had 2 of my children, and my third one was napping. I couldn't take her. I went to the women's shelter, and I fought for a few days. He tried to say I had mental health problems, and he used my awakening against me, and my thoughts of oneness, and those kind of things he tried to turn against me. So I had to do an interview for about 2.5 hours with specially trained RCMP to verify my state of mental health. And I was clear, and I was given my children to be with, and they helped deliver me to safety to the next province over. And for years, I still had to struggle. It's now 7 years later, and I have just finally finished all the court that I've had to go through, and I have finally got my child support order in place and my no contact order in place. And I feel like now I can start, yes, we will start to fly the key. She wants to fly and play. So I feel like, yeah, that she said it best. We found the key now. We're gonna unlock our dreams and we're gonna fly. And we can leave all that behind us.
Thank you, Christine, because you've been through so much. You're a warrior. You are so strong. You went through it. You didn't even ask for any more justice, just peace, and have a family life with your 4 kids, which is so great, because having your kids with foster parents and because of an idiot in your life, so to speak. I mean, no, I think you're a great example for many, many young parents needing to go unnecessarily through a lot of trouble. So I want to thank you so much for your participation, your sharing, your story, your healing. And yeah, definitely wish you all the best of luck you can ever, have in life. So yeah. I hope to be meeting up again, Christine. Have a great day with your 4 kids, and big huggy, because you deserve all the sun out there, and really start enjoying your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a pleasure. Thank you. Good day.